Building relationships is one of the most important things you can do in business. Relationship marketing is something I've been speaking about for many years around the world, 44 countries and counting. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how you can use relationship marketing using a metaphor of farming. Using these steps, you're going to be able to track what you're doing, how to improve your marketing, and get even more results that are really mutually beneficial. This is an episode you are going to love here on this episode of Agorapreneurs.
Welcome to Agorapreneurs, standing for liberty and freedom, all done peacefully. Now, here is your guide, Terry Brock.
And hello there, you wonderful entrepreneurs. An Agorapreneur. The Agorapreneur is the idea of living life freely and voluntarily. That's what we talk about. It's really live and let live. You let others do what they need to do and want to do. You do what you want to do. And people live peacefully. That's a real key principle on this. And part of that is building relationships. The way that you build relationships in business is one of the most important things that will determine your success or failure. And so in this episode, we're going to have some fun with this. I'm a kid from the Midwest, and I grew up in farm country. We were not on a farm ourselves, but we had a little garden out front, and a lot of my friends all around us had farms, and I'd go over and stay overnight with them and do the chores with them, milking cows and tilling the fields and things like that. Every so often, it was a lot of fun. And I find this can really help in relationship marketing and building your business. Matter of fact, a few years ago, I wrote the book on it, Relationship Marketing. It's not about the e-commerce, it's about the R-commerce, not about the electronics, but about building those relationships. And I want to talk with you about the 7 steps that are critical in this, that are directly applicable to you building your business. Step number 1, you got to study and know your business. You've got to know the soil, the farmers will say. You got to study the market. What is the market asking for? Are they asking for more sorghum? Are they asking for more corn or for more wheat or for some other product? What are you going to grow? What kind of products are you going to produce? And it depends on what the market is demanding. If there's too much of it, then the price goes down. If there's too little, then it might be hard to get some of the supplies and some of the right fertilizers and things you need. So you got to study your market. Also, know where you are. Hey, I grew up in the Midwest, in Michigan. In rural mid-Michigan, and where we were, there were certain kind of crops we could grow, certain kinds we don't. I'm now in Orlando, Florida. Well, here in Orlando, we have a lot of citrus, oranges and grapefruit. Don't have a lot of those up in Michigan because the weather, the soil, not right for it. So as a business person, you want to look at the market. What is the market looking for in your particular area? The kind of things that are needed and what you need to go for. So you study that soil, you understand it, what's going on, what's the market, and what you can do to help others. Step number 2, and this one's real important, you got to till the soil, prepare that soil. A farmer will go out and look at what's there. You can't just start throwing seeds in the ground. No, you got to till it. You've got to remove the rocks. You got to remove tree stumps or other obstacles that are there. So in business, what you want to do is you want to prepare that market. Start giving them good information. Be a resource. The more you can be a resource and help others, the more you're preparing for whatever kind of relationship you're going to have in the future. Plus, that gives you the benefit of learning more about what their needs are. Study what they are doing, where they're having pain, and then you become the pain solver. By doing that in business, you're preparing that, you're getting things ready to help them out. That's step number 2. Step number 3, you plant the seeds. You sow those seeds. What you're doing in business is you're doing the similar kind of thing. Matter of fact, it's what I'm doing right here, creating this content. I create content, you get a chance to see it, and you go, oh, hey, this is pretty good. Maybe we'll have Terry come speak for our group, because that's something I do on a regular basis. Or maybe some coaching. I love doing the coaching and some of the consulting that I do because it gives you real world, where the rubber meets the road kind of experience. And what you want to do is you want to study that soil. Look at that, was like we were saying before, and then plant those seeds. You do that, and you're doing that on a regular basis. And that means you also have to have a lot of patience, because you don't just plant the seeds and then the next day, pow, it pops up there. It takes time. Depending on the plant, it will take a lot of nurturing, making sure that you're right there, taking care of what needs to be done. So step number 3, prepare that soil at first, and step number 2. Then step number 3, what you're doing is you are planting those seeds, sowing the seeds. Step number 4, oh, I love this one, nourishing. You want to nourish and make sure that you're there to help people. In farming, it means you need the right amount of water. Too little or too much can ruin the plants. Sunshine, you need that, okay? We're going to need that. Too much of that, too little of it. Yeah, that can be a problem. Farmers are very subject to the environment out there. Oh, and by the way, you also need some fertilizer. Yeah, and you know what? That is the way the world works in business too. There's that fertilizer that's out there, and sometimes you have to overcome that, but you get better because of it. Just like plants will grow from that, what you want to do is you want to prepare with the right amount of information. When you've got a decision that your buyer, your prospective buyer is going to make, find out what it is that they're doing. Where is it that they need help? How can you bring in the right tools to help them out? Learn those tools that are necessary as well. Learn what you can do in business to help them. Maybe it's an email that you can help them with. Maybe you need some more social media to connect with them. Maybe it's going to be sending text messages to stay in touch with them. Maybe it's going to help with a new system that they're going to be able to use and do a lot with some other new technology. All the way through, you want to be there as a resource to help them. Now, there's a very important step number 5 that really is critical in this. It's protecting your crops. As they're growing, they're subject to all kinds of things, from critters coming in. Yeah, we saw that back home, that the animals would come in and sometimes eat the crops when they were just barely getting out of the ground. Or you might have the insects. So you have to do some fertilizers. You got to make sure that you have the pesticides and the right kind of ways to keep the pests away. You got to make sure you're doing that so that you're there nurturing it. And sometimes you're putting up fences around there to keep the critters out as well. So you've got to look at what you can do to protect the relationship you have with your prospect, with your buyer. Make sure that you're there helping them out. That's the best way to do it. Help them out and protect that relationship. Put extra time, money, and energy into making sure that relationship is nurtured. This is what relationship farming is all about. It's all part of the process of taking care of those wonderful people that we call customers or clients or patients or members or whatever term you use for those wonderful people who pay the bills. And then finally, we get to step number 6, which is harvest. Harvest time, I remember, was always a fun time of the year because it was the fall. Things were starting to get a little bit cooler from the warmer summers that we'd have. But it's not so cold as it was going to be in the winter when you get the snow and all that back home in Michigan. And so what you want to do is you want to get ready for that harvest. And that means you got to work a lot. You're going to put in some extra hours. You're going to put in some extra time. Sometimes you don't get as much sleep as you want because you've got to work and make hay while the sun shines. That's where that comes from. And so what you want to do is there's times when you're right there on the line, you're going to have to put in a little extra effort. Be willing to put in that extra effort for harvesting. But you know what? Harvesting is not the end of the game. There's one more very important step. Step number 7 is preparing for the future. You want to put back some seed corn. I saw the farmers who were really good. They always knew that you would take your best corn when we were doing that, and you save that, store it over the winter so that when the planting time comes next year, you're putting those seeds of the best in the ground. That means what you want to do in business now is you realize, okay, hey, the sale came through. Don't just sit back there, prop your feet up on the desk, lace your fingers behind your head and think you're finished. Now's the time to begin preparing. Begin preparing for next year, for the next event, what's going to happen, and how you can serve those clients in the future as well. Because it's ongoing. It is something that never stops, and it keeps you moving all the way through. And I think that's what's really nice about it, because it gives you the ability then to stay on top of what's going on and to really prosper and help others so that they can prosper as well. So in closing, lots of important messages here. Relationship marketing is critical for what you're doing, and we can learn a lot from those wonderful people who feed us, called farmers. We learn what to do, and we learn how to do it. And hey, if you'd like to find some more information about this and how we can help, by all means, we'd like you to get in touch with you. You can reach me, terry@terrybrock.com, or on social media. We're out there all over the interwebs and getting a chance to do that. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about farming, relationship farming, what that is like, and how that ties into relationship marketing. Hey, don't stop now. We've got a lot more videos out there for you about freedom and liberty, living the life of an entrepreneur who believes in live and let live. Matter of fact, here's a way you can make a positive difference in the world. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. That lets the algorithms know, those wacky algorithms know, that hey, people like this kind of thing of live and let live and doing it in a peaceful way. Thanks for being here with us, and we're looking forward to hearing from you.